Welcome to the worst of the best podcast. You wanted the best. Well, they didn't freaking make it! So here's what you get. From Canada, Ryan and Ruban.
All right, welcome to the Worst of the Best podcast. I am your host, Ryan, and with me today, as always, is Ruben.
Hey.
You know, I don't think on our last episode that we actually introduced the show. I think we just started chit-chatting. I don't think we officially introduced the show, so I wonder if we lost any listeners.
We might have.
Okay. Yeah, here we go, Ruben. Just so you know, the Worst of the Best. Take this for what it is, but we have another podcast, Ruben and I. It's the Rocky series podcast, Going the Distance. And that one, to be honest, has more downloads than this one.
Oh, does it?
Yes, it does.
The Scales of Tip has it.
Rocky series podcast has consistently, on a daily basis.
Oh.
Yeah.
Never tipped then.
No, so the Rocky series podcast, our other podcast, dedicated solely to the Rocky films and Sylvester Stallone films in general, on a daily basis, beats the Worst of the Best on downloads. However, that changed about 4 days ago. The Worst of the Best beat Going the Distance in downloads in one day.
Really?
Yeah. Well, it was a combination of a really bad day for Rocky and a little bit higher average day for this podcast. I did something. I changed the titles of our podcast because I always used to say when I release these, believe it or not, Ruben, I do all the work. I do all the editing and releasing of these episodes. I don't know if you knew that. I don't know if you wondered how these magically appeared on the internet.
I just thought Alexa or OK Google was doing it.
No, I actually have to put time and energy into editing these.
Huh.
Yeah, welcome to the show.
Yeah.
So that being said, I tried to do something. I took away the part in our title. Sorry, the part in our title would always say, like, if we did Tom Cruise, it was the Worst of the Best of Tom Cruise. That was the name of our episode. I went through all of the published episodes on our Libsyn where these episodes are hosted, and I changed every title to just the title of the subject. The Tom Cruise title just says Tom Cruise. The Worst of the Best of Pearl Jam, our first episode, just says Pearl Jam, and so forth and so forth. And I found since I've done that, we have steadily had more downloads, and specifically from a lot of different countries.
Now, what will be the name of this episode?
This episode, the one that we're doing today, Ruben, is The Most Expensive Poops. There you go. We can change it whatever we want. The list is the 10 most expensive feces ever. The most expensive poop. There you go.
What's your most expensive one?
Well, it would have to be whatever meal cost me the most would then in turn have to be the most expensive poop. And
so for you, what is that?
I won tickets. This was with... well, she was my wife at the time. She's my ex-wife now. But we won tickets to a very fancy restaurant. And had we paid...
Oh, I remember this. I remember this.
It's quite a funny story, but had we paid for the meal out of pocket without winning the tickets, let's just say, it would have been close to a $300 to $400 meal. Yeah. But it only cost us $75 in pop. We thought that the pop, like most restaurants, would be you pay for one at the very, because it did say in the ticket winning prices that drinks were not included, i.e. alcohol or soda or whatever, juice. So we're like, well, let's just order soda pop. Drink to our heart's content. Well, it turned out, Ruben, that each glass was $5.
$75 in pop. Crazy.
But that included the tip, because we had a tip. So the meal was free, but the soda pop was it was like $50 to $75.
Hysterical.
Yeah.
Hysterical.
Today, Ruben, we're talking about feces or poop. Now, feces, Ruben, are a waste, so they must not be valuable. That's what one would think, right?
I've been keeping mine just in case I was wrong.
Well, we just dump it and forget all about it, even though some pieces of excrement out there are worth hundreds of thousands or even millions of dollars. So it's not just human feces, Ruben, that's valuable, though. Animal poop actually top the list. Most of the time, this is because their poop contains some material that can be used to make valuable products. In other cases, the poop itself is considered raw material or a valuable piece of history. Go ahead, tell us about ambergris.
I thought ambergris was...
Is that how you pronounce
vomit. I believe so. Like, it's poop. I don't think anybody's going to get upset if we say it wrong. But I thought it was whale vomit.
Ambergris.
Did you hear that?
Ambergris.
Did you hear it?
I did.
Ambergris.
Ambergris. Okay, so Ruben, go ahead and tell us what ambergris is.
I thought it was what whales threw up, what they couldn't digest. But it's used for perfumes. And sometimes people will find it washed up on the shore, mainly in the East Coast. So when I lived in the East Coast, we lived in a beachfront house, as you do. I would walk the beaches looking for ambergris, thinking, yeah, man, if I can find this will pay for life or a good portion of it.
Right.
I never did find it, clearly. So I moved back. But apparently it's fecal matter.
Well, you're right, Ruben. It is vomit. It can also be pooped out. I think it's considered poop because it stays in their intestines for so long. You can actually, not to be... well, plug your ears. You find things gross. If you don't poop when you're supposed to, you can vomit out your poop.
I remember one time I bumped into a guy that I kind of knew. I was like, hey, how's it going? Is it good? Well, kind of not. What's up? My mom just died. I said, oh, geez, I'm so sorry. What happened? Constipation.
Ruben, you're turning into dad.
No, it's a true story.
No, you're not because you're turning into dad because you've told the story before.
No, Dad, on this podcast?
Yeah, like 2 podcasts ago.
Really?
Yeah, on the horrible ways people have died episode.
Oh yeah, that's right.
That's okay. There might be people who have just started listening to this episode, and this is their first time listening to us. So,
but still,
yeah,
it leaves an impression.
Well, yeah,
I have constipation. Ugh. I'm hungry, but I can't eat.
So yeah, the ambergris mass can actually stay inside these whales, specifically sperm whales, for several years until they either poop or vomit it out. It's fecal gold because it's rare enough that finding a big enough hunk of it can make you an instant millionaire. In 2016, 3 fishermen from Oman found an 80 kilogram, that's 176 pound piece of ambergris valued at $3 million.
Amazing.
Yeah. I
bet you there used to be 4 fishermen to dude.
So yeah, if you find ambergris, Ruben, you never know, you might have struck gold. Okay. Yeah. Next one. In 1961, Italian artist Piero Manzoni. This is so stupid, but check it out. He decided to create some strange artwork with his poop. He pooped in 90 cans. I guess it wasn't one sitting, but in 90 cans, sealed them shut, and then put them on sale. He called them Merda d'Artista, or in English, Artist's S-word, and labeled each can Artist's S-word, freshly preserved, produced and tinned in May 1961. The price was determined by the cost of the same weight in gold. He died in 1963, but his poop sells like hotcakes even today. The Tate Art Gallery in London acquired one for $30,000 in 2007. The same year, a second can auctioned for $108,000 in Milan, and another one sold for $242,000 in 2016. By 2017, they were worth around $300,000 and will cost millions of dollars within a few years. So it's exponentially rising to have a can of his poop.
We don't really know if there's poop in the can.
That's right. Those claims could be true considering that Manzoni had an eccentric habit of creating unusual artworks. For example, Ruben, he exhibited plain white sheets, boiled eggs, and a balloon as art during his life. You see, I hate these type of artists. I hate them. It's so stupid. He literally put out a blank white sheet, put it on a wall, and said, this is art. He's not wrong. You just say it's art, it becomes art. You label it art, and you're the creator of that. You are now created art. Speak to your claim, Ruben. Banalumi has dared buyers to open the cans to see if they really contain plaster or poop. However, buyers not interested in opening their cans over concerns that the value would tank. But at least one can was opened in 1989. Its contents were wrapped, however, and the opener of the can didn't unwrap what was wrapped. So the can was open, but they didn't dare unwrap what was wrapped inside the can. It's never been proven if it's truly his poop in the can. They're too afraid to find out. Check out the next one. We want to talk about this next one?
Hey, you all remember the year 2012? Light blue underwear worn by Elvis went on auction. What account simply mentions that the underwear was stained around the crotch area? Another explicitly states that it was stained with poop. Oh, he died on the toilet, so I guess it's relevant.
He died on the toilet and he soiled himself on stage.
Yeah, this is when he wore the white jumpsuit in '77 on his comeback special. He was, I guess, he was nervous.
Yep.
Crapped his pants.
Usually people crap their pants when they meet Elvis, but I guess you just crap your pants if you are Elvis.
They went unsold. They were hoping to sell it for £10,000 or more, but they never got that high. You know, I'm a fan of music. I'm okay having memorabilia. If I had that much money, I wouldn't buy it.
No, even if I was a billionaire, I would not buy Elvis's dirty underwear.
So stupid. I guess it has some value to it. So this is the most expensive poop, but yet nobody's bought it. So is it expensive?
Well, they did sell it for £5,000. It was less than the auctioneers had hoped for, but they did get rid of them.
Oh, they did. My apologies.
Yeah.
Okay. Very expensive. You know, I guess pound for pound is probably the most expensive. Because it's just little
specks, little salting, a little peppering to poop.
For those that like music, this is related. We do have another episode where we talk about Skid Row.
Touche. That's good. Yeah, we did have an episode of Skid Row.
If somebody from the band bought the underwear, that should be the cover of their next album.
Skid Row's greatest S hits. Oh, man. All right. Ruben, in 2012, an unnamed man, I love that. I'm sure he had a name, but he dug up 102 centimeter long, brownish yellow coprolite belonging to an unidentified animal that lived in what is now Toledo, Washington, millions of years ago. Coprolite is a fossilized fecal matter.
40 inches long.
Yeah. The ancient poop sold at an auction for $10,000 in 2014. However, some critics do say that the coprolite is actually a pseudo-coprolite. Pseudo-coprolites are materials that look like dung, but are really something else. Critics think this one was made from volcanic ash that entered a swamp and turned into clay. It does kind of look like that, but it also kind of looks poopish.
So 3.5 foot long poo.
Skeptics reached this conclusion because the so-called coprolite did not contain anything that appeared to be digested matter. There was, however, a large amount of siderite, a mineral primarily made of iron. This indicates that it's just a rock and not coprolite. So that's a crappy buy.
At least you got it sold. All right. I did not know this, but the dung, the poop, fecal matter of elephants living in Thailand's Golden Triangle, which I was not familiar with, is used to make one of the world's most expensive coffees. What? The coffee is called Black Ivory. It's a good name.
Yeah.
Anyway, it's made with coffee beans picked from the dung of elephants. What? So the Golden Triangle itself is the area where the Thailand meets the borders of the World. A pound of Black Ivory coffee sold for $500 in 2012. A cup of $50 a cup.
So it's basically the same price as Starbucks. So it's $50 a cup of coffee. The manufacturer does say that the coffee has a distinct non-bitter taste because the beans have been processed by acids in the stomach of the elephant.
All right.
Yeah.
Sure. Oh, could we do that? Eat the beans and then pick it out? Maybe it's a side business, a side hustle.
Yeah, you could try swallowing coffee beans and have your wife, she could pick them out. She could be the laborer. Put them in a sieve and splash some water on there. What would your coffee brand be called if it came from your poop? Think of a name.
Bald beans?
Yeah, bald beans. That's good.
Not a Reuben sandwich. What's slang for coffee?
Java, brew, cuppa, go juice, jitter juice, mud.
Cup of Joe.
It's cup lightning. You could call it crap lightning. Or
yeah. That could be like if Rocky were to do that.
Yeah. Okay. Guano, Rube. Speaking of poop, guano is the poop of seabirds and bats, and is used as fertilizer. The United States was so interested in accessing guano that it passed the Guano Islands Act of 1856. Peru and Spain also went to war after Spain seized Peru's guano-rich Chincha Islands in 1864. Peru still mines guano today, even though it no longer funds most of its budget with the money it makes from it. Most of the guano is used by local farmers, while a small portion is exported abroad as organic fertilizer. So there you go. That's poop put to good use. Seagull and bat guano. We could, Victoria, British Columbia, and other coastal ports, I'm sure, could probably make some money off all the seagull poop everywhere for fertilizer. There must be a way that we could extract it from the lampposts and the signposts that they sit on.
Yeah, I'll get on that. Oh, Rube's Brew.
Yeah, Rube's Brew. That's good. I like it. You got this one?
And she was a professor at the Sichuan, I'm sure I'm saying it wrong, University of China. Let's say pronounce it right.
Mm-hmm.
He was also the inventor of a process that allows farmers to use panda feces as fertilizer for their tea plants, for which he was awarded a patent in 2011, and said that tea made from the panda poop fertilized plants could prevent cancer. Who knew? Man, I should have had that a few years ago.
Yep.
There was a catch, though. He expected a kilogram of tea to cost $69,000, making it the world's most expensive tea.
Possibly the world's most expensive tea.
Possibly. Scientists were skeptical.
Can you say that word?
Scientists were skeptical. I'm not saying it right, am I? Scientists didn't think his claims were true. There's no reason to prove that tea grown with panda dung fertilizer can prevent cancer. Like, why? Of all, like, why do people pick on cancer so much?
Well, what's interesting is, in order for this to be true, he would have to somehow treat an X number of cancer patients in whatever way from the poop extracted from the panda and have those results to show science. Like, yes, they took the poop, they wiped the poop on their face, or they slept with it under their armpits, or they ingested it completely in pill fashion. Like, what was the way they handled, like, or through the tea, I guess. But how do we know? How do we know this was start to finish? This was because they had cancer. They're drinking the tea. Now they don't have cancer anymore. There's no proof of that.
No, it's to prevent cancer.
Well, prevent cancer. Well, that doesn't make sense either. You grab 100 people who are going to never get cancer. You could just say, and this is what I hate when people say, like, remember George Burns?
Oh, yeah, sure.
It was like, oh, he lived to 100 and he smoked cigars every day. Well, that's an anomaly. Yes, he happened to live that lifestyle and live to that old. But I still wouldn't recommend doing that daily.
Sure.
There's a lot of other health risks that a bad, healthy lifestyle will cause. Just because somebody outlives the odds doesn't mean that's the way to live longer. Or you hear like, oh, Betty White's secret to living a long time is having a Snickers bar every day. She may be having a Snickers bar every day, but she's not alive because of that.
Sure. Absolutely.
I hate that when they always interview the oldest lady in town.
I know.
Okay, yeah.
What's the secret for being... I never got married, that's why.
No, you just haven't died yet. Your genetic makeup has allowed it, so you just haven't died.
Yeah.
That's it. You will. You will die. And then they'll say...
Yeah.
Okay, here we go. You ready for more cat poop? Or more poop? There's coffee poop from cats.
Why is so much coffee and tea with poop?
We got panda tea, but now we got some cat poop. Kopi Luwak is one of the world's most expensive coffees. A cup is sold up to $90. Cat poop is more expensive than elephant poop coffee. The coffee is made, though, Ruben, with partially digested coffee beans picked, again, from the feces of the civet cat. The civet cat is not a cat, but a close relative of the mongoose. These days, Kopi Luwak is made with coffee beans picked from the dung of civet cats reared under inhumane conditions in farms in Indonesia and Philippines. So Indonesia and the Philippines are inhumane animals? That's weird.
Oh, the chances.
The mongoose cats are locked in cages that don't provide enough room for them to roam around. They are fed only the coffee beans. Even though they eat a variety of foods in the wild, the confinement takes its toll on the civets, causing them to behave abnormally. They run around in circles and inflict injuries on themselves because they want out of the cage.
Why? Who's doing this? Why are they doing this? Why did they do this?
The sellers deny that this is happening. However, skeptics or people that understand how things work say that would be impossible because the sellers cannot sustain their businesses with beans picked from the dung of wild civets. But you wouldn't be able to find enough to create a product.
Crazy.
Some people think it's just hype, but the coffee tasters around the world put Kopi Luwak in 4th place for taste. So Ruben, number 2, got more coffee dunk stuff.
Sure. I'm guessing it's pronounced Jacu. The Jacu bird coffee is yet another expensive coffee made from animal dung. I know this is a feces. Maybe it's better that it's animals than human poop. But like Henrique Sloper de Aju, invented Jacu bird coffee after he noticed Jacus in the nearby national park were eating coffee beans in his farm. He already knew about the Kopi Lawik. Which one was that?
So this farmer knew about the civet cat poop, so he was aware of what was going on with the cat poop. So he thought, so basically this bird was eating coffee beans. He knew about the cats that ate coffee beans. He saw that these birds were eating coffee beans on his own property. So he wasn't, to his credit, this is all natural.
Caging them.
That's right. These are just birds on his land, eating his food, and then crapping the beans on his own property. So he tracked the birds and then thought, I'll get their poop. And lo and behold, a kilogram of these coffee beans cost 700 pounds.
So stupid. Yeah. Apparently, the birds also eat apricots, truffles, and berries, giving the coffee a distinct nut-like taste.
I believe it. I would say that if I had to drink one of the 3, if you were made to drink one of the 3, I think this one seems the least, not only the most humane, but the bird one.
Yeah,
seems,
sure. The bird.
It's the least amount of intestine stuff.
You know what? I take that back. I would do the elephant one.
Really?
Because, yeah. I remember I was riding my bike. I turned around a corner, and there's a seagull on the ground. The seagull got scared, it flew up, and it crapped on my face, and it came into my mouth. And the memory, I've never tasted crap or bird crap before. But once it hit my mouth, I was like, "Oh, that's bird poo."
Oh yeah,
that was bird poo. It was very distinct.
It is. I've been hit by seagull poop, and once you smell it, you know it. Okay.
Oh, have you tasted it though?
I think so. It's weird. I think it's splattered. That's a splatter. Yeah.
And I was like, ugh. And then I went to the side of my shirt because I had my hands on the handlebars, and I was like, ugh. Then I got more. It was. Anyways, moving on.
This is the last one, Rue. So here we go. You see that picture there? That is a piece of poo. It's human poo. It's human poo. So in 1972, construction workers, such as like what Dad would do, like digging up stuff.
Sure. Yeah.
So construction workers discovered a 20 centimeter long and 5 centimeter wide piece of human excrement.
8 inches by 2 inches.
Yes, 8 by 2. But while excavating in order to build a new branch of Lloyd's Bank in York, England, historians say, though, the poop was passed by someone living in the Viking-ruled area sometime in the 9th century.
Wow, looks like he needs more fiber in his diet.
You can tell which end was the first end to come out. Which one broke the barrier.
Oh, poor guy.
I wish I could go back in time just to see his facial expressions. Because no matter how long ago this was, even the fact that he was a Viking, he would look the same as a New York businessman in a public toilet, like, ah! Ah!
I'd love to explain to him, like, hey, look, I know what you went through is pretty horrific. However, this is going to make somebody rich one day.
Or, ironically, he could have had one of those cups of coffee. It would have helped get that out of him. Historians added that the producer of the feces had intestinal problems and had been unable had been unable to poop for several days before dropping this. Tests revealed that he consumed a diet heavy on meat and bread. The poop is valued, Ruben, at 40 grand. However, it is not currently for sale, and it's held at the Jorvik Viking Center in York. So it's on display, and that picture there is the display of the poop for everyone to see.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Amazing.
So I think for this criteria, Ruben, to pick the worst of the best or the most expensive poops, I think if you had to decide what you wanted to have displayed on your shelf in the living room, So, for example, the coffee beans. That's an easy one. The coffee beans are just whatever they are. They're on a jar saying these are coffee beans that came out of a cat's butt. Okay, that's what's on display. What one item would you most not want to have displayed on your shelf to introduce people when you want?
Which one's the worst?
Yeah. So, which one is the one thing? Which is the worst thing that you would not want displayed on your shelf, whether it's in a display case or not? You don't want it on your shelf to show people this is a poo item and this is the history behind it. I know which one I want.
The worst one to display, well, I think the key.
Yeah. Elvis's underwear.
Oh, please.
Look, there's a pee stain on the front.
It is the worst.
It is. Everything else has a bit of a story, a history, or something where the worst item on this list is Elvis's underwear, by far.
That jumpsuit must have been very hard to get out of.
So, is that your pick too?
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
I love how one account simply mentions that the underwear was stained around the crotch area, while another explicitly states that it was stained with poop. It's like, no. It might not. If you just turn the underwear over, flip it inside out. We got another story going on here. There's more going on than just the pee in the front.
Oh, terrible. They don't make underwear that looks like that anymore, do they? That looks a little different.
That's a different underwear. Yeah.
Does that look a little? They should sell that underwear. Feel like a king.
Oh man.
Oh boy.
Well, remember, Ruben, in front of every pee-stained Elvis Presley underwear, there's a Skid Row on the bottom.
Thank you. Any new listeners?
Yeah, if anyone has listened to this episode for the first time, I doubt they'll listen anymore, and we may have lost what little we had. So thanks for listening, everyone. Yeah, remember, in front of every silver lining, there's a cloud, and we're here to help you find it. Thanks, Ruben. Until next time.
Thank you, Ryan.